heard of you. I've seen your face a couple times on a couple of fight posters, but you're a little different because usually whenever we see Armenians, they're usually fighting out of Glendale, California, or like North Hollywood or something. So what's the story of you fighting out of Renton, Washington?
Yeah, I mean, my family moved there, so we always lived there. I was 14 when we moved there. My dad and my brother came to United States in 2000, and 2007, me, my mom, and my sister moved, and we just stayed there. And we like to, we love our family, and we like to be in the same area because our entire life, everybody's been all over the world. Like growing up, my dad was always in Russia, working, sending money, coming back, seeing us for a few days, going back again. And then him and my brother came to US. We didn't see him for 7 years. And then we moved to US. Then my sister moved to East Coast. And for another 7 years, finally we all get in Seattle, and we're like, we're gonna live close to each other.
Definitely. I know how you feel. I wouldn't want any of my family to move. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I wouldn't want any of my family to move away. We're very close as well. Guys, welcome back to the largest podcast in the world. Never made weight. Today we've got a killer. He's fighting for the title in 7 days. When this comes out, it's gonna be 4 days away. Albert Tadevosyan. They call him Al BZ. Albert, how are you?
Good, brother. Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We were just talking about how the story about how you ended up in Renton, Washington, and how you're one of the few Armenian fighters that is not fighting out of SoCal. And that's a really cool, interesting story. Is there an Armenian community out in Renton, Seattle
There
area?
is. Yeah, yeah, there is. There's definitely a pretty big one. It's one of the best communities in US. I would rate it at. We have an amazing Armenian church and an Armenian house for classes for the kids, Sunday school. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger, to be honest.
I was watching one of your fights and they were yelling your name, and I was so confused. I'm like, I know this is not in LA. You know Casey Park, right?
Yes, yeah, I do
Yeah.
actually.
So Casey Park is like a longtime supporter of the show. And when he messaged me saying, "Hey, I know Albert." And I'm like, dude, if and he was saying Washington and wrestling and this and that. And I was like, bro, if you're joking, that's a very well thought out story. I didn't know that he knew you, but that's amazing. It's a small world.
It is. It is. Yeah. The Washington supporters are unbelievable. A lot of them are my close friends, and they're consistently are every single fight I go. Now you'll see them. They'll fly to LA. They'll fly anywhere for my fights, and they're close friends and the supporters, and they're very big on holding, supporting any Armenian fighter or local businessman or just anybody that's in from the community or from our nation, right?
Yeah, that's amazing because, obviously the Armenian fans, they love their fighters and they're very supportive, but you're taking a different base up there in the Northwest, and it's really good to see, the web expands is really cool. Albert, you have Tommy Aaron, okay? In 7 days, you have a very tough opponent. We got Tony Ferguson in his corner. It's the main event of the UNF, the Up Next Fighting. What are you doing to prepare for that fight? How do you feel right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, I feel amazing. I've never felt this way in my life. My camp, first time, actually, my whole camp was in Las Vegas. We have a great team here going on. I'm with Gold Coast Gym, and I travel through a few gyms. I'm with Coach Chris at Nemia Boxing. We do everything when it comes down to mixed martial arts. I don't focus on one aspect of the game. I am more than ready for this fight. I've never trained this much. So I'm giving Tommy all the respect that he deserves by training as hard as I can for him.
I was there after Tommy's last fight. You guys had a pretty cool, respectful face off after that fight. That great picture that a bunch of people took and posted. And I didn't know, like I knew that was gonna be a banger fight. I knew we were gonna see it soon. I didn't expect it to see it that soon. That's a pretty fast turnaround for Tommy. In this regional scene, what's the fastest you've turned around and took another fight after a fight?
4 weeks. That was
4 weeks.
last year or the year before. I fought February, I think 27th or 28th, and then I fought last weekend of March. That year, I actually had 4 fights, 4 wins, all finishes, and then I was gonna have 5 fights that year, but one of them got canceled. So I'm a busy fighter. The only reason why I didn't fight since September is because of few minor injuries. But other than that, I like to stay busy myself. So it's expected a tough guy like Tommy, a hard worker like Tommy, to come back and fight again.
He has a really interesting story. We talked to him recently too. He comes from one of the most OG gyms in SoCal, Black House. Now he has Tony Ferguson in his corner. We saw in his last fight, he loves to strike. He's very flashy also with his strikes, interesting angles and whatnot. What do you like without spilling the beans? I know you have game plan. We can't get too deep into it. Without spilling the beans, what is your plan to neutralize Tommy Aaron?
So don't be surprised when you see the funnest fight of your life. Okay, Tommy is a tough dude. That fight that he had, I was sitting there ringside. I was very impressed with him. Just his combos were beautiful. And how tough he was, just coming forward. Excellent, right? He did excellent job. I was kind of hoping, that the other Jordan kid would win. He had a good record. It would be nice for me to beat somebody with a good record. But the way Tommy showed up, man, I was very impressed with him. And yeah, I'm a little nervous for him. He's going to bring it out to fight. I love that. And sometimes my best fights are the ones when I got a good dancing partner. Some of these guys are terrible partners. It becomes a very ugly fight, and I either finish on them because they give me something, or it just turns out to be an ugly fight. I'm not a fan of those either, but I just get the job done to win. Tommy I think, is going to be a good dancing partner for me. I can't tell too much about the plan, but I'll tell you this: I'm comfortable anywhere the fight goes. Even if I have to pull guard, I'll be comfortable there too.
That's good to hear. Again, not going too much into game plan, but I'm actually very impressed by your single leg. It's a very nonchalant and calm single leg. And I feel like you just have it down to a T. I'm not going to ask you to elaborate on that, but I'm going to ask you how important is it for you to have the support of other Armenian MMA fighters and you the same show your support? Because I know that last night you were at Tough Enough supporting Leon.
Man, it means the world to me. I've been fighting for 17 years, right? And the weight cut is huge. The fight game is an extremely tough thing to do. And I don't fight for money. So really, like, what's left out there, right? It's the support of people to that pumps me up, and my family and my kids, and being a good example. The love of the game is good, but fight game is hard, man. Like, I can just go out there and train and coach people and have fun, but sometimes the fun is out the window. It's just, man, I'm doing this for my people, and maybe the next generation. Of course, at the end, it's all doing it for me, but man, the support is huge. The fact that I fight in LA last time too, it felt like I was fighting at home. That was awesome, man. That was awesome. And yesterday too, with Leon and helping him out and him seeing him win, man. Like, I'm rooting for him. He's rooting for me, man. We're good friends and good teammates. I love seeing so many Armenians around starting to fight and coming to the fight team. I mean, I eventually, I'm gonna have my gym and supporting all these guys in one way or another. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited that I can be an example for some people out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and I love to see the camaraderie. Like everyone does support each other. Leon, it's so good to see Leon win. I believe he's on this is fourth in a row or third in a
Yeah, all
row.
finishes, I believe, too.
All finishes. You know, he has a nasty left hook, so lightning fast left hook. He has great ground game, and overall, just a great guy. It's so good to see your people and just in general, good people succeed. Albert, can you tell me a little bit about you growing up? Like, what were your aspirations as a kid, and how did you get into fighting? What led you here?
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up in Armenia, in the mean streets of Yerevan and Davitashin. We would fight a lot outside, man. We even had a game where, like, you split in two teams and we have to, like, beat each other up until they say the password or whatever the password was, manipulate joints and freaking, like, hold each other and, hit him. And I mean, it was brutal games. And besides that, in school, always fights, fights, fights. I was actually sick of fights when I came to US. But man, I had it in me, man. So what happened was, it was actually career things. About my junior year in high school, I'm like, man, I barely speak English. I'm decent at playing football. I was an all-star rugby player, and I was lifting a lot of weights. I was training all year round. Like, I was doing all the sports, all seasons in high school. But I'm like, I am not good at school. I'm not going to go to college. What do I do with my life? Well, maybe I can just join an MMA gym and maybe I can open a gym when I graduate and have a business, right? It was like nothing else is in front of me. So I joined a local jujitsu gym. My dad didn't even know. My brother was paying my membership, and my dad was thinking I was playing basketball or other school sports. So for 2 years I was hiding from him, just going to MMA. And then one day he's like, like, you think I don't know this? I know you've been training, and you know what? I support you. I'll pay for some one-on-one sessions for you too. I guess he knew, but I didn't know that he knew because he didn't see me grabbing my football helmet to go to training now, when before
Yeah.
I would grab my gear and stuff. So, after high school, I started, working here and there, a few other spots. And then I was training full time, and I started fighting right after I graduated. And then in my fight careers from age 24 to 29, I became 7-0, finished everybody. My first fight was a guy on a 12 fight winning streak. He had like 11 amateur wins, one pro. My second guy was 7-1, 7 fight pro win streak, and I'm 1-0. I finished that guy. I fought against Dennis Hallman, who was like, I don't know, 17 and 15, just right out of UFC. I'm like a kid, went up a weight class. I finished him. So I was on a good streak. All the way until I bought a couple businesses, and I fought this guy named Phoenix Jones, who's like called a Seattle superhero. He literally would wear superhero stuff and go on the streets. That guy was legit. He was like had like 30 wins in amateurs. He was number one ranked in the area. I mean, he had a lot of experience. He was in World Series of Fighting back then. So I was I was winning that fight clean until like third or fourth round. I got caught in a Kimura and I lost. After the loss, it didn't break me or anything. It's just I realized, let me some businesses, buy a house, get my family, get my shit together, and then maybe continue fighting, maybe not. I had my daughter at that time, so I was a little tired of I guess being broke and training so much for nothing, I guess, right? And so I took 4 years off, all the way until age 29. Took 4 years off, come back, my life is built. I'm like, you know what, man? I never really got outclassed by anybody, man. I've been a good fighter. I want to continue it. I still got time. And after having 4 or 5 years off, I took a fight 5 days notice, fly to East Coast. I lose that fight, obviously. And then, so I'm like 7 and 2 losses. And then I fight again. I lose a split decision in 5 minutes. So I'm like, you know what? It's time to join a good MMA gym. I changed my coach and my team. And I'm like, cause I was like half-ass training. I was like, I'm coming back,
Yeah.
but now I'm like back to legit training and good coach, good team, and serious training. So I had my rematch and I finished that guy in the second round and I got the belt. And then ever since I've been just finishing everybody all the way until till my last fight. My last fight went to 5-5, so we fought 25 minutes. I injured my hand, so I couldn't really hit him with my hand. And we had a verbal agreement to not have kicks because he had a leg injury. So I literally was fighting the whole fight with his one hand and
That's
25
amazing.
minutes. So either I was doing southpaw jabs or I was doing orthodox straights. That's all I had the whole fight.
That's
And I won
crazy.
an anonymous decision. But if that wasn't the reason, I'd be on a 7-fight win streak with all 7 finishes. But it is what it is. I'll take the win.
Hey, a win's better than nothing, right?
100%, yeah.
Your story is different in so many ways, bro. In a 5-year layoff, you go and you tend to your finances, your family, try to set up your life in that way. You feel like you never got outclassed, so you feel good about yourself just in general. You feel like you're the man, so you take a 5-day fight, 5-day notice fight. You lose that one, then all of a sudden you're on a 2-fight losing streak. Then then you're on a 3-fight losing streak, and then that's when you decide. That's when you decide that you got to make a serious change. You change gyms, you take it more seriously, and now since then you haven't lost a fight.
Yeah. Every time I've never lost a fight with a full camp.
That's amazing. What is it about this game that you love?
I'm a big anime fan and that superpower level ups. That's exactly what this is, right? You train really hard, you diet. The harder you do, you more you level up, right? I look at my fight career as like a movie where I'm just main character and I just like it's a I have this little cheesy thing going on in my head. I'm the main character, of my movie and I enjoy working hard, man. I think I can take more pain than anybody and I love that part. I'm like, who can take more pain? Like working out is a pain, sparring is a pain, cold plunge is a pain, Deep tissue massage is a pain, right? Recovery is a pain, training is a pain, everything is a pain. So I got to the point where, man, I don't even feel it anymore. It's more fun to me. It's more like this is what I do. And so I love that part. I love, being at something, being the best in the world. And I feel that I am one of the best in the world. I just need the opportunity to show it. I feel that way. And not to be, delusional, but I think my skills are there. And also, most fighters are optimistically delusional, right? And we have to be. And that's where I'm at. And I want to see, am I delusional or am I really the best in the world? And so I'm fighting all these guys to find out. Simple as that.
I think you gotta be a little believe in yourself more than anybody else, right? Because that's half the battle. I'm sure to step in the cage. You ever get nervous before you step in the cage or no?
Of course. But for me, when I walk in the cage, it's all gone. And it's like, man, I own this place. This is my space right now.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
feel
So
confident
what kind
there.
of anime were you into, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first thing I watched when I came to US at 14 years old, the
Same,
entire season. I watched that.
same.
Right now, I love Solo Leveling and I like Kaiju number 8. So now I watch all those with my kids, but I still watch them. Yeah, they're fun.
How many kids you got?
I have 2 kids.
Boy and girl?
I have a 5-year-old boy and my daughter is 9.
That's amazing, bro. That's Armenian say spots by it,
Merci, merci.
right?
Yeah, they both do jujitsu. My daughter does Muay Thai as well. They got to know how to defend themselves at least, but we'll see if they want to fight or not one day.
That's amazing. Albert, you fought with multiple promotions. Obviously, this one is with Up Next Fighting. What have your experiences been like with Up Next Fighting?
Man, it's nothing like it. The vibe, I love the energy in there. They run it like nothing else. It's so different than any of the regional leagues. And you can tell by just as simple as their ticket sales and the people is in the crowd, right? Very professional, just very high level when it comes down to the production and organization. I love it. I fought there only once, but I've been there for several fights to watch, and I fly out there to watch them because that's how much I like being there. It's my favorite place so far to fight at.
Great. That's amazing to hear. I've had such a good time with these guys at Up Next Fighting. Albert, tell me the craziest thing you've ever experienced in your life.
Ooh, I
You
gotta
might need a
think about
second.
that. I gotta think about that. Craziest thing I've ever experienced. I don't know. I've been through a lot, man. I've been through a lot in business. Okay, I'll tell you something really funny. An employee that I had for like 8 months that I had to dealt with her. Years later, I found out she's in prison for all kinds of things. And I'm like, wow, like I'm a one patient person with somebody that I dealt with for 8 months who is in prison right now because of frauds and some evil stuff that she did, and like that's kind of crazy, man. Like now I'm looking back, I'm like, that was some crazy stuff I have to deal with.
What kind of business?
I own insurance agency. I own 2 offices, State Farm offices.
Amazing.
Yeah, but other
Amazing.
than that, I mean, some crazy injuries I had. I've about 6 weeks ago, I got head kicked real hard, broke my orbital, went to ER. My eyeball was just hurting bad. I mean, I couldn't even look down. It was swollen so bad.
Six
And here I
weeks
am.
ago?
That was about 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
That's crazy. You're
Yeah.
fully healed now?
So when I squared up with Tommy, I was so injured. I was so injured.
Weeks, basically.
I'm fully healed now. I've been sparring for a bit now. I'm good. I heal quick, but it was a good one. Like my teammate was wearing a shin pad, but I had a huge cut and my body went really pale and I had the worst nausea of my life. So I was in ER for like 5, 6 hours. Or at one point from pain, I had to just walk out or go home to sleep just to, not think about the pain. I walked out of ER, went home, took my painkillers. Yeah, it was a brutal one.
I guess that's what they say when they say, breaking your face. I guess that's what
Yeah,
that
yeah.
means, right? Your orbital, basically.
My orbital was fractured. Luckily, surgery wasn't needed, and that was second time. I mean, I've had fractured my orbital during a fight when I fought on the UFC Fight Pass in East Coast. A left hook broke my other orbital, and I didn't even feel it until after the fight. But I felt the punch was really hard. It's painful during the fight. You don't feel anything. So I went through a fight. I won the fight in the first round, and then I felt the pain after.
It's probably so hard to like to explain to somebody outside of fighting or somebody who's just not a fighter, w- the sacrifices that you've been willing to give in order to have this life. You've broken both orbital bones, you know? You don't need to do this. You have businesses, you can go sell insurance. Great job, great industry. I have some friends that do that too, and you have kids, you could just live your life and enjoy, as Armenians say, hangis, tangis. But you're choosing to step into that cage. You're choosing to put yourself through these fight camps, flying here and there, staying busy. How can you explain that to somebody who doesn't understand fighting?
It's what, I'm telling my favorite quote. It's hilarious. It's by David Goggins. You don't know me, son. So every time somebody's like, "Man, why do you still do this? Why do you cut this much weight? Can you cut that much weight?" My response is, "You don't know me, son." If you've seen David Goggins when he's like bench pressing, every time he's like, "You don't know me, son." That's actually like my quote right there. That is my favorite quote because that puts the thing in my brain that I'm different. So when everybody's like, "You're crazy. Why the hell you doing this to yourself?" You don't know me, son. Like I'm different. If I sit down third round, I'm exhausted and people think I'm quitting. I'm gonna say that quote and get out and I'm gonna win the fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is I'm different. I'm different and I've been through it, right? I took the 5 years off. So a lot of fighters get to say 33, 35, they take the time off, they start missing it, they come back, it's already too late. I've done that in my early years. So when people do that, sometimes they don't come back because it's already too late. I've done that. I've gone through, hey, I can eat whatever I want. I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll enjoy life. And I realized I didn't like that. I didn't like any of that, man. I like to just bust my butt, work hard. If I don't, I'm depressed. I already gone through that semi-retirement phase. Life was too easy. My life was never easy before that, right? And then when I made my life easy, I was getting depressed. I'm like, I don't want this, man. I want some chaos in my life. And fighting brings out some of that. I don't like the nerves, but I learned to like them. And, after cutting 25 pounds, you appreciate water, right? We don't appreciate water on our day to day basis, but you start appreciating a lot of little things in life.
I think God heard you when you said, I need chaos in my life because you're about to fight chaos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're about to fight. UFC called you for like a week notice, right?
They did, yeah, 9 days notice. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. I'd love to fight Chaos. Chaos Williams is the guy that offered. Man, I'd still would love to fight him.
I'm sure you're gonna get that call soon, man. Albert, I have to ask you this. You live up there in Renton, in Seattle area. You guys do chorovats or no at your house?
Of course.
Okay,
How could
you're
I
the
call
meat.
myself Armenian without doing that?
Of course. But my question is, you spice and you get your own meat ready because is there any Armenian meat markets around?
No Armenian. Here's what I'll do. I'll buy my shoulder from Costco. I'll move the fat as much as I can. I'll cut them all out. In US, because the meat is a little different, you got to marinate a little different, right? So I'll throw some mayonnaise or something like that the day before so it softens the meat. And then I'll do my spices, let it sit there for a day, like in onions and all that in a plastic bag. And then the next day, ready to go.
We're spoiled here in Glendale, bro. I got Arya Meat Market a mile away, so
You are spoiled.
yeah, we're very spoiled. We have a meat market every half mile.
That's nice.
So
That's nice.
yeah.
We from Seattle fly there just to eat and go back. A
Where?
lot of
Where
times
do you
is the
like to eat?
food.
Where do you like to eat?
I love Khangali house. Khangalis are like my probably favorite food out there. I like the what is it called? Lama Jatun, something like that. The new
Yeah,
place that
yeah.
opened up. I like that one. What's it called?
I think
Um,
Lamajutun. Yeah,
yeah, that they got really good Lama Joes and they got the cheesy hachapuri things. Those are
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And then I like the what's the name? The barbecue, the Horvat's place. Fire
Rafi's?
Rafi's, of course. Yeah, everybody likes Rafi's, right? So I like there
Yeah.
too.
Albert, I'm gonna change the subject. I know you're on a weight cut. I don't want to be negative effect on you. Albert, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. This was a necessary episode we did with you. We were gonna have one with you before that didn't go through, but now you're fighting in 7 days. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be cage side cheering you on. Is there something you want to leave the fans with?
You're in for a treat. This is gonna be a fun fight. It's either a 3 round war or a quick finish. Either way, it's gonna be a really fun fight because both of us are ready to die in the cage.
Guys, tune in 7 days. Up next, fighting the main event, Albert Tadevosyan versus Tommy Aaron. Guys, thank you for watching the largest podcast in the world, Never Made Weight. I'm your host, Sped. Thank you so much, Albert.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate your time.